Okay. All right, so Bloomer High School Student Athletic Handbook and Activities Code. We're not gonna go through the whole thing, but let's start on page 2 real quick. So there we list all offerings. You guys probably know most of those. So for spring, both of you guys were talking about boys track. Page 3, we look at eligibility requirements as deemed by the WIAA. You got to be under 19. We're good. You're in good shape. Nobody's transferring schools right now. We're in good shape. Let's skip ahead to, I'm not glossing over it because it's not important, but in this circumstance, we're going to hit the high points. Amateur status. So basically, like, if you can't, you got to hold off Nike and Adidas for a while if they're trying to sign you for to endorsement deals.
Oh,
okay, until you're out of high school. Okay, so no.
Gotcha.
Okay, that's a big deal. Seriously though, like for other sports, like sometimes you can, like if you're playing in an all-star game of some sort, you can't receive like gifts above a certain amount. There's a little bit of that in there. We're good there. Let's go to page 8. Okay, let's skip ahead to page 4. You don't have one of these.
Yeah, I have both. I was just
Can you look on there?
a
Thank
little
you.
bit.
So, general rules of eligibility. I am going to read this. Eligibility criteria are established for the best interest of the students and the performance group. The student who complies with these rules demonstrates a desire to dedicate himself/herself to self-improvement as well as to enhance the best interest of teammates, coaches, advisors, and school. Training rules must be observed by all participants at all times, including times when the students are not participating in an activity, as well as times when school is not in session. Number 1, participants will strive to be successful in all classes. A student must meet school and DPI, which stands for Department of Public Instruction, eligibility requirements, defining a full-time student, and have received no failing grades in the most recent grade reporting period. So that would be from trimester 2. We're both good? Trimester 2? Good? Good. A student who becomes academically ineligible may regain eligibility by meeting the academic standard following a period of 15 scheduled school days. So that does not apply to you, but if somebody was ineligible, it's not like we kick them out and they can never be part of a team. You have 15 school days, so for kids who are academically ineligible from last trimester, I believe the day that they can start competing is the 31st of March, as long as they're passing the classes. Are you thinking about fall sports at all? Thinking about cross country or anything? No, just track?
Yeah.
Football? No? Just think you'd be a good football player? Probably play some football? Yeah.
Probably.
No? No interest? No winter sport. Have you ever played any other sports?
Basketball.
You play basketball?
No.
I mean, from during what grade? What years?
4th and 5th.
Early on. That's all right. Yeah, good. How about you? Did you do winter sports? Did you wrestle?
No, I wrestle. I did one powerlifting meet.
Yeah.
Yep. And then now.
Okay. All right. Okay, so number 2, a copy of this activities code signed by both students and parents after attending a mandatory meeting, which is what this is, must be on file. So upon signature by you signing, a commitment to this policy shall be viewed as a retroactive to the first day of, that kind of doesn't apply to us because we're into the spring. Offenses do carry over year to year. We're still on page 9 here. So let's say, for instance, and we'll get to other sanctions like for drinking and that kind of thing, but it follows you from the end of this year to the beginning of next year. Okay. So same with like eligibility for academically. If you don't do well 3rd trimester,
It catches up.
it catches up to you next year.
Yep.
Yeah,
That's what happened to me this year with football.
that's right. I remember that. Yeah, you're doing better now.
Yep.
Good. All right, daily attendance, number 3 there, daily attendance. Basically, guys, you need to be here when you're supposed to be here. And on meet days, if you're not here, you can't participate in the meet. If there's an extenuating circumstance where maybe you'd been really sick the night before and you just need a little time in the morning to sleep or whatever, that we have had times where kids come after lunch, but then you have to be here 4th or 6th hour in order to
So
participate.
at least half the day.
At least half the day. But what I tell kids is if you're too sick to come to school, you're too sick to compete.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, you know. And then for practice, same thing. You need to be here. Can't just show up and go to practice. Okay, can't go fishing all day and then, although it'd be tempting some days, especially on days like this.
I don't know, it'd be nice, huh?
Do some golfing during the day and then we'll run track. All right, let's move on to number 4 up at the top. So when we provide transportation for you to go, let's say we meet in Hayward, our expectation is you come home on the bus. Now, if there are, again, extenuating circumstances, we had this happen in basketball, for instance, where we played up in Hayward on a Saturday afternoon. Everybody seems to have a cabin in Hayward or near there. So they want to spend the night with their family. We have a form that you fill out ahead of time, okay? Where are we? Okay, let's move to sanctions. Categories of participation. Down below, we have the different categories. For us, we're dealing with Category 1, athletics, but there are different categories for different things, like if you're in musical, or you're in Badger Boy State, or you're in student council, you're still part of the activities code, okay? All right, inappropriate behavior, bottom of 11. Behaviors that are contrary to healthy involvement, good citizenship, ethical considerations, school rules, or violations of the law will subject the participant to loss of participation in activities. Violations involve, and here are the following. Number 1, possession or use of alcohol, controlled substances, including use of inhalants, anabolic, androgenic steroids, and other performance-enhancing substances, or tobacco products. 2, any student who engages in any unacceptable conduct contrary to the ideals, principles, and standards of the district, or who violates a civil or criminal law, may be suspended for continued participation. And that maybe gives the district some leeway, you know, because certainly there are, I keep using the word extenuating, but there are circumstances that may arise where, like if you get a speeding ticket or something, you're not gonna trouble. But if you're shoplifting, you know, same thing. You know, it's similar fine, but we're gonna handle that one, the second one, much more
Aggressively.
okay, thank you. That's a good word. So sanctions, Category 1 sanctions. So we're Category 1. So the first time you have a sanction, a consequence, it's 25% of the maximum number of contests. Okay, so in track we have 20. So 25%, a quarter of them, that's 5 meets. It's a lot. You know, and depending on when that hits, that can be a pretty severe chunk of your season. So really use great judgment, and you know, you're making a commitment to your teammates and all that kind of stuff, right? So think about that. And then subsequent sanctions. So you have one that's 25%. The next one is a calendar year. That one stings, you know, and that just happened. Unfortunately, we had a kid that had to go through that, where it's a calendar year that sucks up if you're a 3-sport athlete, 3 seasons. So it's a pretty severe penalty, and we want you to really think about your actions. If that does happen, either one of these sanctions does occur, I want to make sure you're aware there is an appeal procedure. Okay, so you could appeal if you felt that there's information that we don't know about, that we need to know about, and you want to appeal that process. This policy is outlined here. You get 3 school days to do it. Okay, so we find out like student A was out drinking, got a citation, or don't have to have a citation in order for us to impose a penalty. Okay, and so let's say that happens on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. You have those days to decide whether or not you want to appeal. And then what you do with that is in writing, it would go to Dr. Randall, to the superintendent. There would be an appeal process. After that, after the judgment is handed down, if you still are not pleased, you could go appeal to the school board, and you'd have 3 days to do that as well. And then after that, it's a done deal. Okay? So I'm not anticipating having to go there, but I did want to share that with you. Okay? Do you guys have questions?
Nope. We're good.
Any concerns?
I understand.
You good? 10 minute, oh,